So Final Freddy's 2 is officially coming out in less than a month from now, and it feels absolutely crazy saying that because I remember going to see that first movie like it was yesterday. Like I drove 3 hours to go see it with some of my friends, and then I drove 3 hours back, and it was a pretty crazy experience to say the least. I mean, the movie isn't perfect, to be honest, but as a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's and as someone who was looking forward to the first movie for like literally like 8 years, I did have a pretty good time with the first movie, to say the least. And the second movie is literally like 29 days away, and I cannot wait for this movie because the trailers for it definitely seem like it's going more in the horror direction. I'm just trying to see if I can move my mic down a little bit. There, that should be about good. But yeah, like I said, the trailers definitely seem like it's leaning more in like the horror direction because the first movie wasn't really that scary, if we're being honest. I mean, it had a couple of like startling moments, I guess you could say, but overall it was pretty lackluster in terms of like actual horror. And I think with the second movie, they're definitely going to lean more into the horror route than the first movie. Because I mean, some of the shots we got in the most recent trailer that came out like 2 or 3 days ago are like, pretty terrifying to say the least. Especially with the Withered Animatronics, which is the main topic of this video, and that is how they are going to work in this movie. Because game-wise, the FNAF 2 Withered Animatronics become the FNAF 1 animatronics from the first game. Because, FNAF 2 in the games is a prequel to FNAF 1, because pretty sure FNAF 2 takes place in 1987, and then FNAF 1 takes place in 1993, I'm pretty sure. But for the movie lore, they are not going that direction. They are, of course, making it a sequel to the first movie, while also still kind of having, prequel elements to obviously, you know, make that similarity between the sequel and prequel. So there will be prequel elements in FNAF 2, but it's not going to be a full-on prequel. It's going to be a sequel, but that question is, why are there Withered animatronics if this movie is going to be a sequel? Now, I think it is probably going to be the biggest change from the games into the movie because, like I said, the Withered animatronics become the FNAF 1 animatronics. So I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. I think it is probably going to be reversed, where the FNAF 1 animatronics become the Withered animatronics. I guess that would probably make the most sense movie-wise, because, yeah, they wouldn't really work having it as, like, the FNAF 2 animatronics becoming the FNAF 1 animatronics, because the building at the end of the first movie obviously, like, collapsed and everything, and I'm pretty sure the FNAF 1 animatronics are still in the building, like, after it collapsed, and so maybe it could be that someone takes the FNAF 1 movie animatronics and brings them to the second location, or what also could happen is that these Withered animatronics are just completely separate animatronics. Like, they're not, it's not a Withered animatronics become the FNAF 1 animatronics type situation. It is that these four animatronics from the first movie and these four Withered animatronics are just two completely different animatronics. They're not related in any way, shape, or form. It's either going to be that one, or it is going to be the FNAF 1 animatronics become the Withered animatronics, and maybe William Afton or someone like that just moved the FNAF 1 animatronics to wherever this FNAF 2 location is. Because it's obviously a completely different pizzeria, so it could be that someone moved the animatronics from the first location to the second location, or like I said, it could be two completely separate groups of animatronics. It's probably going to be the second option. They're just going to be completely separate animatronics, because I feel like that just makes the most sense, I guess you could say. Because, yeah, it's not going to be the FNAF 2 become the FNAF 1 animatronics like it is in the games, because that is the game universe. And this movie universe is a completely separate universe. So they're changing things up, and I think it's for the best, But, yeah, that is basically all for this video. I guess I could also talk about how much money this movie is going to be making, because the first movie made, like, $300 million, and that was because the first movie came out on the same time as it released on streaming. As you remember, it was the first movie that came out both in theaters and on Peacock at like the same exact day, and it still ended up becoming the highest grossing horror movie of that year. So I feel like, would the question be that since FNAF 2 is not going that direction, because I feel like if they would have only released the first movie in theaters, it probably would have made twice as much as it did, because I'm pretty sure back when the first movie came out on like Prime and on Peacock, things like that, I'm pretty sure it was like the most watched movie on that site, so I feel like if they would have only released the first movie in theaters, it could have made like probably 500 or 600 million dollars. But yeah, because they released it on streaming and in theaters the same day, that kind of hurt their box office, I think, because a lot of people were like, why would I watch it at home when I can just watch it in theater instead? But with this time around, with FNAF 2 being only in theaters, would the question be that would this movie make more than the first movie, or would it make around the same amount? Because there was a lot of people who weren't really all that happy with the first movie, if we're being honest here. So I feel like that might, make them not want to see the second movie. So I feel like it probably will make around, if I had to guess, maybe 400 million, maybe 500 million, but I feel like it'll definitely make more than the first movie because, like I said, when the first movie came out on streaming, I'm pretty sure it was like the most watched movie on like the streaming that it came out. So yeah, there was a lot of people who watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So I feel like most of those people who watched the first movie are still going to be looking forward to the second movie. But I feel like, some people didn't really like the first movie all that much. So they're just kind of like, why would I even bother with the second movie? So I feel like it may not make twice as much, but it is most definitely probably going to make around the same amount. Or it'll make like around 400 to 500 million if I had to take a guess. But yeah, that is essentially going to wrap it up for this video. You guys let me know how you think the Withered Animatronics are going to work in this movie. If you think they'll be the FNAF 1 animatronics turned into the Withered Animatronics, or if they're just going to be two completely separate animatronics. So I feel like when the characters are going to come across Withered Animatronics, they're probably going to think that they are the animatronics from the first movie, but then they'll probably realize later on that, oh no, these are just two completely separate groups of animatronics, and the first animatronics from the first movie will probably, I don't know, because if they do end up going that completely different group of animatronics route, then I guess those first four animatronics from the first movie are probably just going to be like, gone forever because they don't really have a reason to come back if they're not going to be turned into the withered animatronics. So we might not ever see those four animatronics ever again. So it's hard to say what will happen to those four if they do end up going the completely different direction route. But yeah, that is essentially all for this video. We are only 59 subscribers away from 700. Yeah, that's right. Somebody unsubscribed. I don't know why. It's probably because I haven't uploaded in like a week. But, movie news has just been kind of slow these past couple weeks or so there hasn't really been too much to talk about. I was going to talk about this video, or make this video yesterday, or I was going to upload this video today because I was going to record it in the morning, but my hair was just not having it. I tried to fix my hair for like half an hour, and it just wasn't having it. It kept sticking up, and it was like, you ain't making this video right now. And I was like, well, alrighty then. I guess I'm gonna have to wait for my hair to actually go back down before recording this video. So yeah, that is why this video is gonna be uploaded on the 7th, and not today like I originally planned it for. So yeah, that is what is gonna be the case. But yeah, anyways, you guys let me know if you're looking forward to the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. I definitely am. This is definitely probably like one of my most anticipated movies of 2025, and the fact that it is only less than a month away, it's crazy. But yeah, I did also order the brand new poster that they came out with because they came out with this poster, like, I'm pretty sure it's the same day because the trailer leaked, like, when they were teasing that the trailer was going to come out, the trailer ended up leaking, so they had to release it at, like, 11 p.m. at night, and so they released the poster for the movie alongside the trailer, and the withered poster of, like, the withered animatronics looks great, and I did, in fact, order that poster because it looked pretty dang cool, and I'm probably going to end up putting it, like, underneath the Sonic posters. I was also debating ordering the toy animatronic posters, but, yeah, I'm not too sure. I probably will end up ordering the toy animatronic poster for FNAF 2, but we'll see what happens. I'm probably going to end up putting them right here, and probably right here as well. And with this final trailer, they finally showed us all four of the Withered Animatronics, because, you know, they've been showing the Withered Animatronics in, like, the past trailers, but we'd only see, like, some, it was mostly Withered Chica that we would see, because we would see some shots of Withered Bonnie, and we would see like one shot of Withered Foxy, but it was mostly Withered Chica that we would see. But with this final trailer, they have finally showed us all four shots of the Withered Animatronics and like new shots of the Withered Animatronics, not shots that we've seen before, and they finally showed us Withered Freddy, because they haven't shown us Withered Freddy in any of the trailers. In the teaser trailer and the first trailer, there was no Withered Freddy, so I was wondering, are they gonna, you know, save Withered Freddy for the movie itself, or are they gonna end up showing him in a trailer? And sure enough, in this final trailer, we got our first look at Withered Freddy, but we haven't seen him in action still, so it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what he does in the movie, because we've only seen that one shot of Withered Freddy, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what he does in the movie. But yeah, we also got a new looks at Withered Chica, Withered Bonnie, and Withered Foxy, and I gotta say, they do look pretty dang good. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video, so I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.